Hello, BookTube. I've got an average-sized mail haul today, and that's just as well, as I have less than an average amount of energy to deal with it. I'm very, very tired. So we'll go through this and we'll see what's of interest. Let's see what this first one is. Fairly small. Oh, okay. It's a historical novel by Karen Harper. It's due in October. And it has a certain vessel on the cover that's going to make it of particular interest. That is the HMS Titanic. It's called The It Girls. The New York Times bestselling author Karen Harper writes a novel based on the lives of two amazing sisters. One sailed on the Titanic and started a fresh empire. The other overtook Hollywood and scandalized the world. Together they were unstoppable. Huh. So this is about Eleanor and Lucy Sutherland, one of whom married Cosmo Duff Gordon, who was extremely rich and was on the Titanic. Okay, so a Titanic novel. Not a bad way to start. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, this is a finished copy of a novel by Sarah Creech that I think is out already. No, this comes out on June 6th. June 6th is a big date. It's D-Day, but it's also a big date for finished copies. This is The Whole Way Home by Sarah Creech, who was born and raised in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains and teaches English and creative writing at Queen's University at Charlotte, North Carolina, and who wrote the book Season of the Dragonflies that I think I remember getting but not reading. Why does her name sound familiar to me, though? It sounds familiar to me from more than just Season of the Dragonflies. Well, anyway, this is The Whole Way Home. This is wearing her trusty red cowboy boots and playing to sold-out shows. Rising country singer Joanne Lover is poised to become a one-name Nashville star like her idols, Loretta, Reba, and Dolly. To ensure her success, Jo has carefully honed her public image as a long-haired, sassy, down-to-earth girl from the mountains of Virginia, who pours her heart into her songs. But Jo's perfect world is threatened when a tribute concert brings Nashville heartthrob J.D. Gunn, her first love, back to town. Jo and J.D. grew up together but parted ways to carve their own crooked roads to stardom. When they're forced back together, sparks fly, igniting a flurry of tabloid rumors. It's a love letter to country music, first love, and rising stars. That actually does sound kind of good. It's exactly the kind of novel that I'm in the mood for, so I will probably read that before I will read the Titanic novel. Let's see what this next one is. Not a finished copy by the sound of it. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, good. Good. This is June 6th. This is going to be a horrible trend if all of these books were coming out on June 6th. I spot trends in these mail hauls, but that would be a horrifying one. This is Everybody's Son by Thridi Umrigat. And I read it. I read the advance copy that I got and liked it very much. I don't know if I described it on this channel. Let's see here. During a terrible heat wave in 1991, the worst in a decade, 9-year-old Anton has been locked in an apartment in the projects alone for 7 days, without air conditioning or a fan. With no electricity, the refrigerator and the lights do not work. Hot, hungry, and desperate, Anton shatters a window and climbs out, cutting his legs on broken glass. He is covered in blood when the police find him. Juanita, his mother, is found in a crack home less than 3 blocks away, nearly unconscious and half naked. When she comes to, she repeatedly asks for her baby boy. She never meant to leave Anton. She went out for a quick hit and was headed right back when her drug dealer raped her and kept her high. Though the bond between mother and son is extremely strong, Anton is placed in child services while Juanita goes to jail. The Harvard-educated son of a U.S. Senator, Judge David Coleman, is a scion of Northeastern privilege. Desperate to have a child in the house again after the tragic death of his teenage son, David uses his power and connections to keep his new foster son, Anton, with him and his wife, actions that will have devastating consequences for years to come. Everybody's Son. A very good novel. This is we've got 3 novels so far, but let's see here. Actually, now that I think about it, I won't be reading the It Girls at all, will I? Oh, that's a shame. It's got the Titanic as part of the action, but now once the publishing bandwagon, the disgraceful publishing bandwagon thing went above 60 titles in one season, I said no. Well, but I can find somebody to read it. Let's see here. So the next one is an advanced copy from Harvard. It comes out at the end of July, and it's called Ripples in SpaceTime: Einstein, Gravitational Waves, and the Future of Astronomy. And it's by Govert Schilling. It has already been called the scientific breakthrough of the century, the detection of gravitational waves. Einstein predicted these tiny ripples in the fabric of space-time nearly 100 years ago, but they were never perceived directly until now. And this is a book about that. Okay. All right, so late July, Ripples in Space-Time, which is exactly what these things are. I read all about it when the news broke in my news feeds. What have we here? God, it's another novel. This comes out in September. I believe this is a debut. This is Hame, which we're told on the cover is Scottish for home, by Annalena McAfee. I think this is a debut novel. Do we have a pub sheet for Steve? Steve can't barely see straight. He needs a pub sheet. Oh yes, it is. Okay, it's a rich, sultry, ambitious novel about a young American writer-curator fleeing a crumbling marriage in New York who travels with her 9-year-old daughter to one of the remote islands in the north of Scotland, birthplace of her grandfather. Okay, but is this her debut? No, it's not. Okay, don't know why I was thinking that. It seems big and ambitious, though. We've got this from FedEx. What is this? Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay, this is the advanced copy of something that goes out in early September. This is by Michael Sims. It's Frankenstein Dreams. The subtitle is A Connoisseur's Collection of Victorian Science Fiction. And I saw this already. I poured through it. And he, Michael Sims does a really good job. There's a bit from Frankenstein. But then there are a bunch of names that you expect, like Edgar Allan Poe or Jules Verne. But there are a bunch that you don't, that aren't known anymore, but that once were. And that's fantastic. There's even one by Thomas Wentworth Higginson. And it's, oh wow, that's a lot. Okay, it's a lot more than I remembered. So you've got Kipling, you've got Arthur Conan Doyle, you've got H.G. Wells, Ambrose Bierce, Robert Louis Stevenson, Thomas Hardy. But you also have William Henry Rhodes. You have Richard Adams Locke. You have these people that were known once upon a time. They aren't known anymore. So that's great. That's fantastic. Victorian science fiction. I'm going to move on to this one here. What is this? Oh, fantastic. Okay, this is The Shadow in the Garden by James Atlas, which is subtitled A Biographer's Tale. Those of you who maybe know him, know his work. He got the title Shadow in the Garden. Let's see here. This is a biographer's autobiography, a funny, endearing tale of how writers' lives get documented by the celebrated chronicler of Saul Bellow and Delmore Schwartz. The biographer, so often in the shadows, kibitzing, casting doubt, proving facts, here comes to the stage. James Atlas takes us back to his childhood in suburban Chicago, where he fell in love with literature, and early on found himself the impulse to study writers' lives. We meet Richard Ellman, the great biographer of James Joyce, and Atlas's professor during his transformative year at Oxford. We get to know the author's first subject, the self-doomed poet, Delmore Schwartz. A bygone cast of intellectuals such as Edmund Wilson and Dwight MacDonald, and of course the elusive Bellow, the metaphysician of the ordinary, which is, I guess, a long-winded way of saying a bad writer. But I might change my mind on Saul Bellow. Certainly, I've revisited all of his nonfiction and liked it a lot. So, Atlas revisits the lives and works of the classical biographers, the Renaissance writers of what were then called lives, Samuel Johnson and Boswell among them. So this is kind of a mishmash. This comes out in August. It sounds like kind of a mishmash of his biography and the art of biography, and the biographies of famous biographers. That sounds like it's tough to pull off. I think he could probably do it. So I will report back. And then this is our last one for today. Oh, it's a thriller. Oh, very good. This comes out in, again, late August. This is The Saboteur by Andrew Gross. And it has, if I remember correctly, a humdinger of an elevator pitch. 1943 is a year in which the Allies and the Nazis are closing in on attempts to construct the decisive weapon of war. But Oslo engineer Kurt Nordstrom has his own personal reasons for joining the Norwegian resistance and taking up arms against the German occupiers. When his enemies in Norway start closing in, he escapes to England to transmit secret evidence of the Nazis' progress on the atomic bomb at an isolated factory in his homeland. In Allied territory, he joins a team of dedicated Norwegians in training in the Scottish Highlands for a mission to stop the Nazis' plan to advance any further. And they go back. It's as the summary puts it, they are parachuted into the most unforgiving terrain in Europe. Great. Fantastic. I actually know someone who got an advanced copy of this very similar to this one, who dug into it right away, and he said, it's great. You're going to love it. So I'm looking forward to it. And there you have it. That is a rather low-energy mail haul, I will admit. We have The Saboteur. We have Shadow in the Garden by James Atlas. We have Frankenstein Dreams, connoisseur's trip through the science fiction of the Victorian era. We have Haim, big fat novel about Scotland. We have Ripples in SpaceTime, about the momentous physics discovery of last year. We have Everybody's Son, the finished copy, very nice finished copy. We have The Whole Way Home by Sarah Creech. I want to say I know her name. I want to say she wrote kids' books, but it's not in her biography. I'll have to look it up. And lastly, The It Girls, a historical novel partly set on the Titanic. So there you go, a nice mixed bag. And I'm going to sign off for now, but I will see you soon, Book 2. Thank you.